Some of you in the room right now, you are where you are, you're giving 60% when you have 120 in you. Why? Because you never made a decision. Those of you in this room, you already there. Your problem is this is stuff you don't want to give up to go. To me, pound for pound, any agent in the room, pound for pound, motivational speaker, pound for pound, entrepreneur, pound for pound, athlete, pound for pound, weightlifter, pound for pound, whatever you do, I guarantee you when you do it, nobody can do it like you do it. The problem is you don't hardly do it.
Welcome back to CFB Nation. I am your host, Nino Brown, and as you can see on this episode of CFBPrime, I've got my guy, the man, the myth, the legend, the gridiron scholar, John Laub. How are we doing, man? I know you're on vacation. We're at the latter end of it, but how's it been?
Oh, life is great, man. You know, I would say this journey started around December 20th, right? That's when I finally start. Look, oops, my dogs are talking about the journey. Sorry about that, everyone. Of course, they've been quiet all night, and then all of a sudden, Mora! and then they got to stop. They got to start barking. It's been a long journey, but right now I feel really good. I've looked at over 90 prospects in detail. You know, I have my model up. I have the rankings. I'm 40 deep at wide receiver, 33 deep at running back. Quarterbacks and tight ends are a little smaller in general. You don't have as many prospects,
right. But
I feel real good. It's April vacation is like a landmark to me. I got by April 1st, I'm done with 95% of the work. Now it's just talking to people, waiting for the draft capital where they land, you know, so it's exciting to be with you. You know, basically from December 20th to April 1st, it's a draft journey.
Oh, you keep going down the rabbit hole, John. Right?
It does. I take 2 weeks off, then it starts Debbie, my friend.
That's what I'm waiting for. I can't wait for that. I'm done with this. Give me all the fresh meat. You know what I mean? Give me all the new talent coming in. Let's talk Debbie and what's the future holds. But, you know, I wanted to talk about, and I spoke to you a little bit before the show, how everybody's kind of hung up on the same 3-4 quarterbacks, right? That's all you just keep hearing. Oh, who's going to go 2, 3? Can this guy sneak in? Is this guy the project? I'm tired of the same 4. I'm going to bring up a couple guys. I want your opinion, your professional aspect on these 3 gentlemen. But before that, I'm running you through the rapid fire gauntlet. Are you ready?
I'm ready, brother.
All right, let's get it. TCU tight end Jarrett Wiley will be the 3rd tight end off the board in this class. I'm
going to say false. Okay. I do like him. I think I have a day 3 grade. You can't ignore the 6'6", 249. Incredible. Very productive in college. But I don't know if he's a dominant blocker. I don't feel like he's a great route runner. I have a number 6 in my tight end rankings. I would be shocked if he's a 3rd tight end off the board.
All right. Number 2. Wide receiver Xavier Worthy sneaks into the 1st round and a top 5 wide receiver selection.
So this is a double-edged sword question. Because A, I do not think he's a top 5 because I have him at number 6.
Okay.
So there he is in my rankings. Yet the NFL cannot ignore speed. Mm-hmm. The raw speed at 4.21 is too tantalizing for the NFL to ignore that. So he goes off in the 1st round despite only weighing 165. I don't think he's an X. I think he's a Z or outside receiver, maybe some inside, but he's not a classic X. But you cannot discount how he can take a top off a defense. And what I believe, he's probably a better NFL asset than fantasy player because every second he's on the field, you know, every safety is on their heels. I mean, because if this man gets a step on you, He's 30 yards behind you. I mean, you've got to deal with that speed.
I mean, it's probably chalk, right? And probably heard it a bunch. Landing in Miami, is that the ultimate landing spot?
No, I think Dallas is. I think
Okay.
Dallas needs him so bad. I understand why people think Miami. McDaniel is obsessed with speed.
Right.
And I get it. It worked. I mean, you put Devin Achane, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle on that field, and that is a problem.
Right.
But Miami's got other needs. To have a speed receiver with you need offensive line, you need tight end, you need defensive linemen. You could argue they need linebackers, right? To me, a nice little beautiful chess piece of another redundant asset doesn't make sense.
And that answer makes sense. So I'm glad that you brought it all, full circle in that respect, because I've been hearing lately, especially a lot on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Oh, Xavier Worthy to Miami would be the perfect replacement for Tyreek Hill in future. But I think your answer makes 100, especially with them letting Christian Wilkinson go as well.
Oh, they need a defensive tackle or a pass rusher, I think.
Bad.
Like that. I'm old school, Nino. I'm going big boy. I am not speed. Yeah, I love it. But Tyreek Hill's got 2 years left, I would say, right?
Yeah.
McDaniel might not even be the head coach in 3 years if they don't win.
Boom.
You cannot take a luxury item
right
when you have needs all over the place. Now, Dallas, though, think about it.
Right.
You have CeeDee Lamb. You have Terrence Ferguson, the tight end, or Ferguson, the tight end.
Yeah.
You have Gallup. Oh my God. Worthy in that 4 receiver with Ferguson. That's a problem, dude.
Well,
that is a problem.
You have Cooks. Isn't Gallup a free agent?
Oh, you do have Cook. You do have Cook. Yeah. So
but
look,
still.
And Cook doesn't have 2 years left, and no pun intended, he's mostly cooked.
Yeah.
He's pretty well done at this time.
Yeah.
So I think Worthy would have a better shot quicker on the football field.
Agreed. And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. A running back as well, so that speedy guy can be that running back and then take it, So I like that. That's a great landing spot. Question 3. Another one. We're riding the hype train. Wide receiver Jalen Polk will be drafted over Malachi Corley.
This question is really, because you're not going to believe it, I have them basically back-to-back in my rankings. If I'm an owner or a general manager, I'm going to take Polk over Malachi Corley because of the Power 4/Power 5. Last year was 5 conferences. The level of competition, the ADOT is really bad for Malachi Corley.
Yes.
I'm sorry. When I saw Rondell Moore and I saw his pathetic ADOT and then like where his targets were on the field, I don't have one share of Rondell Moore.
Mm-hmm.
If you really look at Malachi Corley, I get it. He's tough.
Yeah.
He's physical. He has a 5.5 ADOT. I'm just going to say my benchmark is 12. The next Malik Washington is 8.1. Jalen McMillan 9.6. Luke McCaffrey 10.7. I mean, Malachi Corley is so low. The only guy lower is Jacob Cowing is 5.9. I mean, it is such a red flag, Nino.
Yeah, I agree. I love them, but
the red flag is just staring at you like, dude, he played low-level competition and he doesn't run a route 15 yards down the field.
Bing! That route tree is red everywhere.
Red.
And his way of separating is not going to translate at the next level because he is not going to be physically stronger than every guy he lines up against.
I don't know if he can get open 5-6 yards down the field. I mean, I can't say he can't, but it's not on film, dude.
And it's not going to be easier at the next level than it was, against Western Kentucky's competition.
Come on, they're in the Conference USA, dude.
Yeah.
He might not have played against an NFL level cornerback all season.
Nope. And John, and I'm going to go and say he got outplayed for the first 6 weeks of the season by Easton Messer in the same role at Western Kentucky. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, he's getting pissed off. Now we have to manufacture touches to Corley. But the first 5-6 weeks, Easton Mesner was smoking this guy.
I know. Look, there's a lot of, and I like the film. And I had him as a depth. Like last summer, I thought he would take a step forward.
Mm-hmm.
If you would watch like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Drake London and other players who were playing in the slot, they had limited route trees, but then they had an opportunity. You see growth. I thought Malachi Corey would move out to the X or at the worst the Z, and you get an increase in the A dot. Dude, nothing changed.
No. And the thing is, with those other guys, they do run. They're in the slot, but they're so close to running the same percentage to the outside that they're not one-trick ponies. He's so limited that it's just him in that little
Nino,
circle.
I think he had 3 routes.
That's it. DK Metcalf got scrutinized. They said he couldn't run more than 3 routes. Obviously, he can run more than 3 routes. That has been exposed since then. This gentleman, unfortunately, yes, I love that he can yak and he has such physicality to him in the first 6 yards off the line of scrimmage. But outside of that, it's very hard for me to find some serious things that I like about his game.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't like him as a route runner.
No, what route? What route? What's he going to slant?
I've done 8 mock drafts so far. Not in one have I taken Malachi Corley because I wouldn't take him in a dynasty until the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily for me, there's always someone who likes him a lot more than I do. I mean, go ahead. I don't know what and this is like, if I don't have him in my dynasty bucket, that's okay.
I'm not crying.
I'm not crying.
No.
Hey, Nino, he might fall to the 5th or 6th round.
I marked him to the Patriots in the 5th.
And that's a dead zone.
Oh, this year's class is a dead zone. John, 5, 6, and 7 are all grouped in the same bunch now.
Yeah, I mean, look at Keyshawn Boutte. Once he was that low, I'm like, I'm out. I was out before the draft. At that point, I was like, he's
bye-bye. Yeah.
Goodbye.
I'm with you 100%, John. All right, let's hit this next one. This is another guy that I got pissed off he didn't get an invite to the combine. It's an exact version of we scout the helmet and not the player. Okay, now I'm going with that. Memphis running back Blake Watson will be drafted before Kamani Vidal.
He will not.
Okay.
There's too much buzz about Kamani Vidal at the NFL levels, and their model is very similar.
Yeah,
and I do think Blake Watson's underrated. I completely agree. I think it's a great analysis to look at these 2 young men from G5 programs with very similar athletic ability. And I could even argue, I think Blake Watson's a better pass catcher than Kamani Vidal.
Agreed.
I do. Yet, Kamani Vidal is bigger at 211. Blake Watson's 195. The BMI, which isn't the end-all and be-all. It isn't, but the NFL, if I know this, the NFL, at least I hope they're analytic. Kamani Vidal's BMI is 32.4. The benchmark is 30. And then you look at Blake Watson. He's not at 28.8. He's not out. He's within that, margin of error. Yeah,
the gray.
You're at 28, okay. But when you see the BMI on Vidal and Watson, the NFL's going to like Vidal. And I know I've said this to you before or many other shows, but we've been together enough. I think I have. I grade inside out.
Yes.
Vidal.
Inside. I agree.
Better between the tackles.
Yeah.
And that's why the NFL will take him earlier. I love Watson as a 5th-round pick. If he gets 5th-round draft capital, I'll be 100% in. That means the NFL likes him a little bit more than the 6th or the UDFA.
Right.
My fear is a UDFA. That's like your nightmare, right? That's who was the guy on Syracuse? Sean
Tucker.
Sean Tucker. I mean, I like Sean Tucker. Obviously, the medicals are worse than we
the
have
ticker.
access to. You know, we heard rumors, and then but man, when you're a UDFA, your odds at that point. I mean, the Bucks could go out and draft a 5th, 4th-round running back and just cut Tucker at the end of this, right? So if Blake Watson doesn't get drafted, but I do have a 5th-round grade, like that's where, to me, the value is.
Mm-hmm.
And why I like him is his pass-catching utility.
Oh,
He should be able to step in right away. And if you need a 3rd down back, he's your 3rd down back. I'll say this. I also think he's better than Kenneth Gainwell. But Kenneth Gainwell, I think, was better between the tackles. And it was close. But I think Watson's a better pass catcher. I do.
Yeah, I agree. In the Gainwell aspect, I mean, it was Antonio Gibson was the pass catcher at that school. It's funny, same school, right? But Gainwell was more, you said, the in-between tackle pounder, and then when it got to the NFL, they somehow switched roles, which is weird. I don't understand how that worked. But I think you hit 100% on that. The BMI, the mass, pass pro is going to keep him on the field for all 3 downs in Vidal. I just think Watson, like the receiving aspect and the explosiveness that he has to him, I love it. I think that not getting an invite was absolute garbage.
No, I don't understand how he didn't get an invite. I don't understand how you could have watched college football this year. You saw Blake Watson. You look at the numbers moving up. Old Dominion.
Right.
I think their Conference USA moving up to the American Athletic Conference is a higher level. I thought Blake Watson played his best football at Memphis. Memphis has been good at producing NFL backs. Not saying they're superstars, but they have NFL backs. I would have thought that he's on the list for the combine. I mean, he deserved to be there. He didn't get it, but he had a great pro day. We know those are little,
Yeah, huge.
Little home cooking, right? Never hurt anyone.
Back-to-back years, though, with great production. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, go back to I think it was his sophomore year, Old Dominion. He was good there. But that's even a lower level of competition than Memphis.
Right. No, agreed. So I have a funny feeling someone's going to take a flyer on him. I would hope he doesn't go UDFA, but I have a feeling. In my gut, holding on to it.
Yeah.
All right. South Alabama quarterback Carter Bradley gets drafted and has that Brock Purdy game manager potential.
He's my 14th ranked quarterback. I do not believe he gets drafted. I think he gets a UDFA and he gets a job in camp.
Okay.
If he has a pro potential, he needs to be the 3rd quarterback. So we need a weak quarterback depth chart.
Okay.
So to me, that's the only way he gets his opportunity is he gets in a weak depth chart. And if he's a 6th-round pick, maybe he makes it. UDFA, you better make sure he doesn't go to like San Fran, right? You got to make sure he goes somewhere. Is there NFL? I think he needs reps. Like I know the UFL and the NFL have to figure out how to work together somehow.
They got to be in camp, right?
They do. The NFL needs a training college or minor league.
Like a AAA.
They do, dude. I mean, if you look at the World Football League with like Scott Mitchell and Kurt Warner, and then the USFL, guys who came out of those leagues who played 16, 30 games at a minor league AAA level, a lot of them ended up helping NFL teams,
right?
Especially the quarterback position. I mean, what good is it to have young men come in 3rd string taxi squad and sit there? Put them on the field.
Right.
Put them on the field. Let them get reps. They don't get reps.
Mm-hmm.
How often is the 3rd string or taxi squad quarterback getting in reps in training camp / during the regular season.
Not very many.
No, but if they were in a league where they could start 10 to 15 games, do the training camp, right? Then maybe you get growth. But, the NFL buries these young men, puts them on these, and then they cut them in 2 years.
Yep.
And they bring in the next kid.
And then they're cooked by then. You know what I mean?
They're
cooked. Yeah. All right. So in that
perception
aspect, Jake Haener or Connor Bradley?
Same thing. I mean, Jake Haener needs reps somewheres.
But he got drafted, right? 5th round?
Yeah. But he's sitting around. He needs to get
suspended for PEDs, but yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
If he wasn't, but he would have he needs reps somewheres.
I gotcha.
Right?
Still raw.
Hey, Brock Purdy is the ultimate outlier. Mm-hmm. The coaching staff was able to look, and I mean, it's really kind of, the coaching staff looked around and said, wow, our best quarterback is a third stringer. Do you know how often a coaching staff would say that? Most would never say that.
Especially after giving up 3 firsts.
Exactly. They would never admit that they were wrong on Trey Lance. Yeah. But the 49ers did. That's incredible. Teams don't do that.
No, not at all. Not at all, John. I got one last rapid fire before we get into the body of the show here. Tennessee quarterback Joe Milton converts to tight end at the NFL level.
Smartest thing he could ever do.
Oh, I love the answer, John.
I mean, I'm sorry. I watch way too much Joe Milton. Anyone who knows me, I'm a Michigan guy. I watched him in Tennessee. Dude, he's not a quarterback.
No.
I'm sorry. He doesn't. I don't think he processes fast enough. I don't think he reads defenses well. He doesn't go through his transgressions. I mean, think about this for a minute. We have Josh Heupel, electric system with Hendon Hooker. Mm-hmm. He got Jalen Hyatt, high draft capital in that electric system. They're gone. He brings in, he only has Milton. He won't play the freshman, which I think he was right. I think he did the right thing. He changed that offense. He had 3 running backs. He rotated them. Tennessee basically said, Joe, stop throwing the football. You think about what Tennessee was and where they were with Joe Milton under center. He's not a quarterback.
No, he killed my guy Squirrel White. Squirrel White should have been a top receiver. He killed him.
And Nino, he's had 2 good coaches. You can argue, Harbaugh has his problems with passing. He likes to run. But you think if Joe Milton had anything, Harbaugh's giving him away?
No. And that's the thing. He was supposed to go to Tennessee to be the starter. He got beat by the Virginia Tech washaway in Hooker.
Yes.
Like, come on, John. And then when you got your moment, you threw up on your shoes again.
He was terrible. And you know what? My favorite tidbit of every year. Someone sees a player like Milton. They're like, oh.
90 yards.
Look, he throws the ball 70 yards.
Oh, my God.
It happens every spring. There's one guy, and I'm like, did you watch one game of? I watched Joe Milton at least 3 times at Michigan, and probably 8 or 9 times at Tennessee. And every time, Nino, I said, not a pro quarterback. That's all. I leave it at that.
I watched 7 games, Sean, because I got crucified when I said he was trash. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's garbage." Like, I don't want to hear it. Kept watching. I watched the first 4 games of the year, and I'm like, okay, he's got the people. I could put no defenders on the field and put buckets. He can't make a bucket throw. Couldn't hit one bucket out of 20 passes. He wouldn't hit him.
Nino, he cannot let's say he's out of the shotgun, 2-step drop,
Nope.
second progression, 15 yards.
It's going off for the guy's head. Hey, if you're at the 20 and he's got to be in the shotgun and drop back, and they're going across the end zone, he's hitting the field goal post. He's not putting that thing in the guy. No way.
No way. No way.
He's better off going to be a baseball pitcher.
Hey,
I'm serious. He can make some money, right? Because 105, 106 miles an hour. So they're going to be like, oh my God. Don't make some money that way.
What was the baseball show? The movie with the Indians in the 90s.
Major League, baby.
Major League. He would be like the relief, like he would be hitting people in the head.
Oh, he'd be Wild Thing. Yeah.
He would be
Charlie
Wild
Sheen.
Thing. Oh, yeah. Wild Thing, man.
It's crazy. Like, everybody sees a big throw. Oh, he's on his knees. He threw it 70 yards. Cool. Throw me a 15-yard bucket over the shoulder throw. Throw me it. Throw me back shoulder fade. You can't do that.
No.
So, all right. That was a very exciting rapid fire one. We're going to get into the body of the show here, the draft, John. Less than 2 weeks out, okay? There are some forgotten quarterbacks, I think, potential landing spots and talent. We might be talking about them a lot more. First off the rip, I want to talk about my guy. I've been pounding the table for this guy for over a year now. South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler. Talk to me, John. What are your thoughts here? Do you think he could be the 5th quarterback off the board?
I have him as a 7th. I can't say that someone won't like him. I can't put him ahead of Nix and Penix. I can't.
Okay.
I just think Nix and Penix have a better body of work. They've shown me an upper level production with the football. There's a few warning signs in Spencer's kind of background, like as far as a thrower. I like him. I think in a 3rd round, I think Spencer Rattler is a play. If Tommy, what's the guy? Oh my God, why can't we? The guy.
Tommy DeVito?
Tommy DeVito. If Tommy DeVito could start, 5 games in the NFL?
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler is way better than Tommy DeVito. So if last year, I think it was 62 quarterbacks started games. And if you look at the top 90, like let's say every team has 3. So you're looking about 96 quarterbacks, right? Give or take. Spencer Rattler is among the top 65 quarterbacks who can throw the football at the NFL level. I think he needs time. I would be very nervous if he ends up on a team and because of injuries or something crazy, like they throw him out. I look at Spencer. He has the arm talent. There's no question about it in my book. He can command an offense at the NFL level. I would love to see him sit for a year, maybe 2, learn a system. Like, let's just pretend he could sit behind Derek Carr in New Orleans.
Okay.
Learn. I think he's better. He has a higher ceiling than Carr right now. Let him learn from a good NFL quality quarterback and let him understand the game. Then maybe if New Orleans likes him or the organization, then they could put him in 2 or 3 years from now. My biggest fear is he goes to a bad team or a team like the Giants who just has, Daniel Jones, and then all of a sudden the guy gets hurt and they have to throw him out on the field. And he's just not ready for the NFL speed of the game, even though he has the arm strength. What I think would happen with his chutzpah and his arm strength, he'd throw that ball into too many windows that he's not really ready to do so. Because he's going to believe in the arm, but it's the NFL. And the NFL stands for not for long. And if you throw those... You throw those ball like he gets away with it in the Big 12 and the SEC. At the NFL, those windows are tighter and quicker, and there's defense.
You're right, but this is where I'm going to defend this guy.
Yeah.
For a season and 7 weeks, he had less than 2.6 seconds per rep to throw the ball. He had the worst offensive line damn near in college football. 40-plus sacks back-to-back seasons.
Well, no, what I like about Spencer is he moved up a level of competition. He went from the Big 12 to the SEC, which is much harder. He did not land at Alabama or LSU, right, like Jaden Daniels did. He ends up at, let's be honest, the bottom half of the SEC. That's where, right? They weren't loaded at wide receiver. I mean, they had Antoine Wells 2 years ago. He gets hurt. Leggett steps up, right?
Right.
But he never had like it's not like look at what Jaden Daniels had with Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors. So the fact that he competed, and you just said something, I knew his offensive line was bad. The offense was bad.
Right.
But you just put it like numerically, it was really bad. I like the fact that he's overcome adversity.
Yeah.
I say it. Look, I think one of the problems, I don't want to go too up, but like Trevor Lawrence went from a perfect scenario at Clemson to a poor organization with a poor offense. You can put Spencer Rattler in a bad situation and he might survive somehow if he doesn't get killed. Like I will give you this. He's had to overcome being benched by Caleb Williams, swallowing his ego, and moving on to South Carolina. And for that, I respect him.
And he knows it. Because when I spoke to him at the Senior Bowl, he said his biggest asset is him being able to overcome and grow up.
Yes, and I love that. And that's one of the reasons I loved Dak Prescott years ago. Damn it, at Mississippi State, that man was overwhelmed. When I was Dak, I was like, holy crap. Like, Mississippi State did not have the athletes that the other SEC teams had.
No.
But Dak always fought.
Yep.
He fought. Spencer Rattler, I give him credit. He's fought. But that does not mean you're ready. He is psychologically ready, maybe. But there's still things you have to learn at the NFL level. Throws that he made as a Gamecock is going to get him at times in more trouble than the NFL. Does he have the arm strength? Without question. Does he have the athletic ability to avoid the pass rush? Yes. Is he going to get 800 yards rushing? No. But he could have 250 and he can avoid the pass rush.
Agreed. He can make all platform throws.
Yes.
Extend plays. Agreed.
I just think day 3 is where round 3 is where he should be drafted.
That's where I have him too. I just hope to God that if my Patriots trade down from 3, they don't get him, because I don't think they have anything to help a quarterback right now. I'm so scared. But,
where is a nice team? Oh, forget the Patriots. Green Bay, if he could sit for 2 years under Jordan Love, learn that system, learn those receivers, and then see what happens. We don't know what Jordan Love, he should be the quarterback in 2027, but Nino, you don't know.
No.
Right? No. You don't know. Or maybe then Spencer Rattler moves on at that point. And that's okay, right? But get in a place where he gets a good coach, he gets to see a good quarterback, and he's not pressured to be the guy.
No, I don't think he could go year 1 if he had to. Like you said, if Tommy DeVito can step in.
Well,
year 1.
I'm now convinced anyone can play if Tommy DeVito got that type of workload.
And people forget, I know it was a deep ball problem, but he got benched at over 70% completion rate when he was at Oklahoma. Obviously it was Caleb Williams. You show me another quarterback in college football in the last 20 years that got benched and had to transfer that had a completion percentage over 70. There's not many.
Nino, it is one of the weirdest career arcs because when you look at Spencer Rattler, he had a really good redshirt freshman season. He was All-American. He looked good. I thought he had a potential NFL, and I don't know what happened. Something happened, man. He looked terrible. Yeah. Let's just be honest. He got benched for Caleb. Now, I mean, looking back, I understand why Riley did it, but I don't know what happened in the locker room, what happened in the quarterback room. There's things we don't have knowledge of, But that is one of the weirdest dynamics. Like, why did he even recruit Caleb is very bizarre when you have Spencer at that time. I mean, there's just a lot of weird things going on.
I've said this for a while. He's a fraud, Lincoln Riley, and he does not develop any quarterbacks.
Well, no, it's his system. No, he puts you in the system. That's it.
They say he's the quarterback guru, right? That's BS because everyone he got's been a transfer.
And the system works, not his coaching up the player.
Correct. That clarified by the scholar right there. All right, John. Let's talk about another quarterback that I know you're a fan of, and a lot of people tend to forget because of where he played. Wasn't a big name, but I think after the season, the pro day, everything started falling into place for him. Tulane quarterback Michael Pratt. What are your thoughts on Pratt? Where do you got him? What's his grade?
NFL player, day 3 prospect, probably going to go in the 5th round. Maybe he gets 4th round draft capital. That would be great if he did. If Jake Browning, who actually had a pretty nice year.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
Now, Browning stepped into a good offense. I mean, he has, when you have Chase, Jamar Chase and a couple other guys, it doesn't hurt. But I watched a lot of those Bengals. Browning played good football. I mean, I'm looking right here at the numbers. I'm shocked. 70% completion, 12 touchdowns last year, 8-yard average throw. Browning, they're not the same quarterback. Pratt is more athletic than Browning, okay?
Correct.
But I think they could be in the same bucket for an arc as a professional. What Pratt needs is the land where he, again, like maybe he learns in Denver.
That's why
but the problem is Denver has no quarterbacks right now.
Right.
So he might be rushed. But I'm just like, to learn under a guy like Sean Payton, where he doesn't have to get on the field. How long did Browning sit? I feel like he must have sat for 3 years or something to learn.
I think this was his 3rd year that he came out and got to play.
Oh, yes. So, yep. So college Washington, but I can't. Wow, he wasn't even with Cincinnati. He must have been on the practice squad. He has no stats before this year. So he's probably on the practice squad for 2 years for the Bengals, right?
And nobody stole him with all those injuries.
Right? Let Pratt go and learn under a Peyton. Let him learn under a guy who knows how to coach the position. The only problem in Denver is they might have to play the guy because they literally don't have anything. Let him learn under Lamar Jackson. If he got stuck, Pratt could probably go. He can run that RPO. He's not dynamic but he could plug and play as 2 years from now. I mean, where he could run an RPO, he's got some running upside. He's not dynamic, but if you want a goal line touchdown out of your quarterback, Pratt can get it for you. He's got NFL size. I actually think when you were talking about Carter Bradley, I think Pratt is more like Brock Purdy as far as experience, 46 games at the college level, 6'2", 210. I think he's got the arm strength, but it's not unbelievable. I'll say this, he has more juice than Brock Purdy ever did with his leg. I mean, Michael Pratt can run. Now, I don't think I put him in the Justin Herbert bucket, right? He can get you 350, 450 yards rushing, key first downs.
Yep.
I would like him to go then to sit on the bench. You know what? Oh, my God, that would be perfect. Let him sit in San Diego or Los Angeles. Sorry, I'm an old Chargers guy. Let him sit in Los Angeles behind Justin Herbert for Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman. Let him learn and devour the NFL game. And then let's see because he doesn't have Justin Herbert's size or his arm strength. I mean, that's the big difference. But there are similarities in their athleticism that I could see him learning under a Harbaugh or Roman. And if he ever had a play, Harbaugh and Roman would protect him. They'd be like, young man, you're gonna throw the ball 22 times. That is it.
That's the
running
problem.
the ball.
You're going to die with Tim Harbaugh and Roman.
Well, but he would learn, right?
He would
learn.
If he's not in Denver, stay home. Get picked by the Saints. Sit that one season behind Carr. And in that second year, let's go. Battle him out for that job.
I do think the Saints are in the market for a backup quarterback. They need one.
They tried last year, Nina. It didn't work.
No, it didn't work. And Carr's not your long-term answer.
And Winston's gone.
Gone.
There's a void there. I think Pratt's staying home, just driving down the street, right? They play football for whatever it may be, another 4 to 8 years. But you're going to have weapons around him. He has that similarity to Drake May with the speed, right? He can take off. He doesn't have 4.5 speed, but he showed at the Senior Bowl, and he made a point of showing how he could take off at the Senior Bowl and flash those legs. So I think if he stays home, if he doesn't land in Denver, I'd love him to stay in New Orleans, stay home. I think those teams can groom him, and they have pieces for him to grow moving forward.
Gotcha.
The last guy I think everybody's forgotten about, John. Got hurt. The whole rigmarole about his team was they didn't make the playoff, but he's healthy now, and he's cleared to throw the ball. And I think his game, although there are some holes that he will need to fix to translate to the NFL, I think Jordan Travis is getting a little bit of buzz. I have a perfect landing spot for him. I talked to you about it a little bit. If he lands in New York, the Jets sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year or two, I think that's perfect for him. Just get a whole year of rehabbing off the injury, learning from a guy like that. In that second year, if Rodgers is going to come back or not, either it's yours or you have one more year or half a season under his tutelage, and then you're taking it. But you're going to have, maybe Mike Williams still. You'll have Wilson. They're probably going to draft another guy this year. You have Breece Hall. You have depth, good O-line. That would be the ultimate landing spot for me for Jordan Travis. What are your thoughts and what's your grade?
Well, I have him at number 9.
Okay.
I have a day 3. So I would say Rattler's in his own bucket. But I think Pratt and Travis and then Devin Larry, even though they're different styles, I think they're in the same bucket. Developmental players. If you are looking for a dual threat, you want to bring that young man in. Jordan Travis could be, there's another good lane. Cleveland isn't a bad spot right now for a backup either.
Well, they have DTR, Watson, though.
I think these guys are better than DTR. But that's
you think
just
Travis
me.
is better than DTR?
I do. I think he's a better thrower of the football.
Okay.
I think DTR was a really good runner, really good, and an average thrower of the football. I think Travis is a better thrower of the football, and I like his offense that he learned under a little. I like Travis better in college than I like DTR. I did. I think there's an opening there. Let's say Pratt goes to Cleveland. That's not a bad landing spot. Let him sit behind DTR then. For if that's the way the depth chart works itself out. Wow, I don't know why Cleveland popped in my head. They really do need a backup. I don't think you can just go in the season with Watson and DTR again. I could be wrong, but I think you need more depth than that at quarterback, especially with the injuries that occur nowadays. But I like Travis, 1,961 career rushing yards. He got a PFF grade of 86.8. That's nice. Completion percentage is okay at 62. I wish it was up. Hey, man, 66 to 20 touchdown interception ratio. He's pretty smart with the football. He's not dynamic with the football, but he's smart enough. 20 interceptions over 42 games. If you keep that, that's really one interception every 2 games. That's right. That's a nice number.
No, I agree.
Turn the ball, if you don't turn the ball over in the NFL, you'll stay on the field. You might not make Pro Bowls or something, but you'll stay on the field. So there's things I like about Jordan Travis. I do think he'll get drafted now.
Now, one thing I will say about Jordan Travis, just like Jaden Daniels, they took a step this year from the previous season. You saw the development in Jordan Travis. Again, another guy that when he looked to run, when he skipped the pocket, his first instinct was to throw the ball. It wasn't to tuck it and run. Where in both of their junior seniors, they would just, when the ball's down, I'm out. See you later, guys. I'm not even attempting to throw the ball. They adjusted that in their senior season. Let's just say we spoke about this team. Jordan Travis lands at the Giants.
Oh, God, that's so bad for him.
Well,
He'll play.
He'll
end up playing.
You think that they would eat that money? Like I don't know many teams that are just willing to say, I'll eat the $30 million like Denver did.
No, but do we believe that Daniels is going to make it the whole season as a starter in New York?
Oh, health concerns, you're saying?
Yeah. And what if the Giants start off 1-5? You pull the plug on him, Daniel Jones?
They would pull the plug on that $30 million quarterback and play the rook. I think this year is a flag year for them. They know I don't know if they're willing to eat the money, so they're going to force it. They're going to put Daniel Jones out there, and I think this year is going to be a flag stick measurement for everything else they have. Is Eric Gray a guy? Is Jalen Hyatt going to take the next step? Do we move on from Wan'Dale Robinson? All these questions have to be, is Darren Waller coming back? Right? It's like they have a lot of questions. I think it's this year.
I think Darren Waller is done with football.
I think so too, but he hasn't given them an answer. He's leaving them in like limbo here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With 10 days from the draft.
That's even worse. But
right.
Just tell the team you're done. I don't want Jordan Travis on the field right away.
I don't want him on the field right away either. I just hope that he would or is there a chance that something like Washington could do the double dip like they did with Robert Griffin and Kirk Cousins? Could they take it Daniels in May and take Travis in the fifth or sixth round as a backup plan?
They should do that.
Right?
Yes.
Or a guy that takes Bo Nix or Michael Penix. One of them, gentlemen. If you take Travis in the sixth round, is that a good insurance policy for those quarterbacks?
I wouldn't be, it's going to sound crazy. Let's just say Denver takes Nix.
Yeah.
What's wrong with taking Michael Pratt in the fifth round?
Nothing. No.
You need bodies at the quarterback.
They have no bodies.
They got nobody. That's why I think the Seahawks getting Sam Howell was a good move. If Geno Smith fails or gets hurt, you could do a much worse than Sam Howell as your backup quarterback. Like I was going to say this and we got distracted. Excuse me for one. Sorry, everyone. I think the backup quarterback is so important, but it's the most ignored thing in the NFL.
It's one of those, it's don't care about it till I need it.
Yes. And then you literally have teams, teams that go, oh, we are screwed. Mm-hmm. Like literally the Giants.
Tommy DeVito.
Come on.
Yeah.
We saw him at Syracuse. Nino.
No,
you asked me a million times. I never would have thought in a million years Tommy DeVito ends up starting 6 or 7 games.
Garrett Schrader's better. And I don't like Garrett Schrader at all.
Yeah. I just want to see what the stats were because I haven't done my NFL. I'm so deep into.
I want to say it was
Tommy DeVito.
57% at Syracuse.
8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I mean, there's no way they wanted to play him.
No.
But they had Daniel Jones and then Tyrod Taylor.
And they both were hurt.
And Taylor can't make it through a season.
No.
He just can't.
That's his MO.
His body isn't.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about your backup in a much better way. I think the Seahawks were smart for getting Sam Howell.
I think Sam Howell, and this is the thing I read.
Yeah.
And it made valid point. Sam Howell, another reason why he got traded was they were going QB, okay? And the new regime wasn't his guy. But they were afraid that the killer instinct in Sam Howell and the way he plays would not be good for a rookie quarterback, that if he has a hiccup, this kid's going to be wanting to chase his job. And then fan base is saying, oh, are you going to play Sam Howell? He looks good in camp. He looks good here. He has it in him. Yes, Another thing about Sam Howell that people forget is he was getting murdered like Spencer Rattler was getting murdered all season. That O-line was trash. And for the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, he looked pretty good. Now, everything came crumbling down on him, and he couldn't throw to the right team down the end of the stretch. But we saw glimpses of what was there. We saw glimpses of the North Carolina Sam Howell, who played very, very well for 2 years. I think that maybe not this year, but I think in year 2 of Howell as a Seahawk, there's a good chance he could steal Geno Smith's job.
Howell's an NFL quarterback. There's no question in my mind. Will he get with the right staff and a right team around him to allow him to be more successful? That's to be determined.
Right.
We don't know. We got a whole new regime in Seattle.
Right.
We don't know if that regime is competent yet. Let's just be honest. You never know 100% sure.
Right.
But if it's a competent regime with the talent that they've been able to acquire year after year, if they keep that going, and this is a good coach and a good scheme, he's all right. He's all right. He'll be in a good position.
Yeah, they're a team that I don't think really has to attack the quarterback position in this draft at all.
No, they don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm surprised someone like the Rams didn't grab Howell. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't available to him. But Howell sitting behind for Stratford, that's not a bad match. You know, he's older.
You could have, especially with McVay, like you plug him right into the that would have been key. All right. I got one last question for you before I hit you with the sneaky bonus.
Oh no.
Give me your QB riser in this draft.
Now, you see, so we've literally hit upon everyone, but I think the guy who's dynasty riser is going to be dependent on, is he a first-round pick? It's going to be Michael Penix.
Okay.
I have my question. Some people love him. He does have the best deep arm thrower in the class. I really do believe that.
Yes.
I think he throws the ball outside the hash marks, 30 down, is just spectacular. But from fantasy standpoint, is his upside even Joe Burrow or is it Kirk Cousins? Like, I don't think he's going to get you that rushing equity.
No, he's Kirk Cousins.
So that's what you got to hope for.
Yeah.
I mean, and that limits from a fantasy standpoint, but
Correct.
If he gets that, let's say he goes the Raiders, he's going to skyrocket. He's going to be a top 6 super flex pick, maybe. Let's at least top 8.
Yeah.
So I have my questions about Penix. I know some people love him. I do see if everything works out for the young man, and it's potential. There's no question. And the Raiders isn't a bad spot with Antonio Pierce and DeAndre Adams, and that, right? And then you also have Michael Meyer, and they got something going there.
Kobe Myers is still there. Yep.
Yeah, I think their biggest problem is they play with the Chiefs. That's becoming like the AFC East with Brady and Belichick.
Exactly.
None of those franchises get out from under Brady and Belichick, right? So can you get out from Mahomes and Reed? Right now, no one can.
No,
they're all stuck.
not right now.
Not right now. But I do like Michael Penix to rise. But I mean, like, I love J.J. McCarthy in this process, but everyone knows. So it's a question where we kind of know the top 4, I believe, right now. And then it would be Penix would circumvent Nix. That, to me, I do think Nix is the better fantasy guy because of the rushing equity. Penix might be the better deep ball. I mean, he is. He's the better deep ball thrower.
I agree. And I've been saying that for a long time, that he's the best deep ball passer in this class.
I do. I think he's the best.
That's why I want this draft to be over, John. Because what happens, I'm tired of watching more and more film. I talk to people and they say things to me and I catch on what they say. And so I'm like, let me go back and watch some stuff to see if I see it. And it may be minute, but then it catches my eye and then I start thinking more and I go down this stupid rabbit hole like we do. I notice he is a little late on some timing. Comeback routes, it's curl, and a little bit on these hook routes. He's a little bit late, a little bit. Like, he throws the ball when you should throw the ball on that when that foot plants right before he's supposed to make that. He's like a half second late. Sometimes, not all the time.
No, sometimes. I do think he can get flustered if you hit him a ton.
Okay.
Now that can be said about every quarterback. But I do like Michigan got him because they just started to hit him a lot, and he kind of lost his concentration.
I think he was a little hurt in that game. A little bit.
No, he was.
Yeah.
Michigan hurt him. Michigan hurt him. That Harbaugh knew what he was doing. Take the head off the snake.
Yes.
I mean, Harbaugh's old school. Take the head off the snake. He got him. I will think that Pierce would be smart enough to protect Penix, not looking for him to throw 35 times a game out of the gate.
That's why Jameel White has.
Yeah. Run the ball, play defense, protect your quarterback, make them, a 2-read system. You got
bop, bop.
Yep, bop bop. And if it's not there, throw it away, punt it.
Exactly.
We'll get him again. I do like Penix in Las Vegas. I think it's a pretty decent situation.
I think him running kind of let it hang down a little bit for everybody when he ran the 40 and put up those numbers. Because I was one of those guys that pounded the table saying he's got no mobility to him. I watched him. In the air, he had mobility. After the 4 season end injuries, I think it was up here. I don't want to do that shit no more.
No, what the 40 proved to me is he's athletic, but I don't want him to use the athleticism on the field.
No, don't be running 20-yard runs. Get down.
I don't want that. Because that knee, it's healthy, but if you start doing that, it's going to be in a bad situation at some point.
The guys that are hitting you across the middle, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger than the gentleman that you were facing in the Pac-12.
Yes, and eventually it'll catch up with them.
Yeah. All right. I like it all, John. I appreciate breaking down these 3 guys and talk about your biggest riser. One last one before I let you go. Is there a chance the Miami Dolphins take a flyer on Talia Tagovailoa and pair him with Tua as his backup?
0, unless they get him as an undrafted free agent.
Okay. I was curious. I don't think he's going to get drafted. And that's why he wanted to go back. That's why he wanted the waiver, because he knows he's not ready yet.
I know. He's not a pro quarterback. He wanted the waiver. And he got enough evidence from scouts or the NFL that he's not going to be drafted. Right. That's why he went back.
Jaden DeLorean's not getting drafted.
Yes.
There'll be UDFAs, maybe. Or next year they'll get picked up.
Yeah, I mean, he will get a UDFA. He will. But does he make a roster or practice squad?
He could possibly make a practice squad because of his mobility.
He could.
Right? Because he could be, he could play like the opposite on whatever it be scout team as they play certain mobile QBs. But yeah, I don't know if both of those guys' games translate to the NFL.
I'll say this. He's another guy who would benefit highly from a AAA program.
Oh yeah. Listen,
he could really.
Hakeem Butler is the ultimate, wasn't ready for the NFL, right? Wide receiver Hakeem Butler. When I went to XFL and the UFL, and I am an absolute dog now. I got it. I understand what to do. And I think after this year, there's a chance that some NFL team will try to, maybe take a flyer on him for a year or 2 at wide receiver, because he's done it consistently back-to-back years, and he's kind of shown I fixed things I needed to work on. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, and if you want to bring him in as a 4th or 5th receiver, there's no question that he deserves that shot.
Yeah. A lot of teams go 4 wide, and they like that role, and he could be that guy,
Yeah, and let him see if he develops. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, look at
Dallas at Turpin, right? He came over from the XFL, and he year and a half of performance.
Yeah, Turpin. If you watch Dallas, the punt returns, the kick returns, they usually got him 1 or 2 targets.
Yeah.
Right. They got the ball in his hand, running the ball. He made it. He helped the team. He helped the team, and that's what you hope.
Hakeem Butler could be one of those guys that's a red zone target because he's a big body guy that will go up and high point the ball. So I'm not saying he's going to be your one wide receiver corner, your go-to guy, but he's the guy that I think does have NFL caliber talent. And I just wanted to reiterate your point of having that AAA option, where you can go to, or even mid-season when the quarterbacks are dropping off like flies. Hey, I'm going to go to the Denver's backup list. I need a guy. At least I know he's got some experience. I don't have to, prime him up before I throw him in the hot fire. So,
completely agree.
John, I know you're excited. 8 days, what is it? 8, 9 days before we're there. We get to start off. 7 days.
No, it's 7 days now.
7 now. We're at a single week. Oh, man. It's time almost. It's almost time, in the words of Michael Buffer. And then all this work that you've put in, it's finally over, right? And like you said, we get to dive into some fresh meat, into the Debbie aspect.
2 weeks off and then fresh meat.
I can't wait. John, I appreciate you. Before you go, tell the people at home where they can find your work and your handle.
Excellent. Follow me on Twitter or X. I always say Twitter still.
Yeah.
Follow me on X at Gridiron Skull 91. I couldn't afford the A and the R at the time, so it's Gridiron Skull 91. And then if you could, all my written profiles are on Player Profiler now. It's my 11th season breaking down each draft class, but everything that I write, my models and all of that is on playerprofiler.com.
Go check him out. Give him a follow. He does A1 work. It's a pleasure to be able to hook up with my guy, John Laub, and just talk football. He's just an encyclopedia of information, and I love it. And he's a local New England guy, so, we gotta stay close. We gotta stay together. All right, John, I appreciate you. Good luck in the draft. I hope all of your estimates and everything come out, and it's a masterpiece for you. And we're talking about this forever. And you hit all these guys you talked about, you nail them. I hope you do. But CFB Nation, this is a great episode, and we're out.